You've been waiting for permission to become serious about your life. Here it is. No one is coming. No one is watching. No one owes you a second chance. The future you want isn't a dream. It's a decision you have been avoiding. You think the world is chaotic, but it's not. You are chaotic. Your habits are not random. They are your true identity, quietly repeating itself until you wake up one day and realize you've been living the same life in a different year. This is the moment you stop lying to yourself. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You don't need hope. You need precision. You don't need inspiration. You need control. Stop negotiating with your own weakness. That sentence is not a suggestion. It is a diagnosis. You have been bargaining with the part of you that prefers comfort over growth. You've been treating weakness like a negotiable force, like it has a vote in your life. It doesn't. And the moment you accept that, your life changes. Weakness is not a character flaw. It is a habit, a pattern of surrender that you have trained your body and mind to repeat. You don't feel weak. You've been programmed to respond to pressure the same way over and over. And that response is the thing you call your personality. You think you are in control because you can make plans, but your plans don't matter. Your actions matter, and your actions are not driven by your goal. They are driven by your comfort. Your comfort is the true ruler of your behavior. You have been negotiating with weakness in the simplest way. You promise yourself tomorrow. You say, I'll start next week. You tell yourself, I'll be better when I feel better. You give your power away to a future version of you who doesn't exist. That future version is a myth you created to protect your present self. Weakness is a parasite that feeds on your procrastination. It doesn't attack you directly. It doesn't have to. It simply sits inside your mind and whispers later. It waits until your resolve is tired, until your attention is thin, until your defenses are down. Then it strikes and you obey. Without realizing you've been trained to. You are not negotiating with your weakness because you are stupid. You are negotiating because you are lazy. And laziness is not a moral failing. It is a survival mechanism that has been mistaken for comfort. Your mind thinks it is protecting you. It is not. It is destroying you. You have to understand the internal mechanics of this. Weakness is not a feeling. It is a decision made in the split second before you act. It is the moment you choose comfort over discipline. It is the moment you choose the easy route over the right route, and you have been making that choice so many times that your brain now expects it. This is how it works. Your brain is a prediction machine. It learns from repetition. So every time you choose the easy option, your brain records it as the default. Every time you give in, your brain builds a stronger pathway for surrender. And then you wonder why you can't stop. You have not failed because you are weak. You have failed because you have been training your weakness. And training is a process. Your weakness is not a static thing. It is a muscle. It grows stronger every time you feed. Now you must reverse the training, but you cannot do that with wishes. You cannot do that with trying. You can only do it with discipline. Discipline is not a feeling either. It is a decision. It is a command you issue to yourself. It is a rule you enforce without exception. It is the removal of negotiation from your inner world. When you negotiate with weakness, you are allowing your mind to remain a battlefield. You are giving it permission to debate itself. You are letting your fear speak. You are letting your comfort argue. You are letting your excuses build their case. You do not need to argue with weakness. You need to end the argument. Weakness is not a debate. It is a threat. And threats do not get to vote. The first step is simple, but it is not easy. You must stop giving your weakness a voice. You must stop listening to the part of you that says you deserve rest. You do not deserve rest. You deserve results. Your body will try to justify your surrender. Your mind will invent reasons. Your emotions will attempt to hijack your decision. This is the nature of weakness. It hides behind rationality. It disguises itself as wisdom. It uses your own values against you. It says you've been working hard. It says you're allowed to take it easy. It says you'll do it later. But none of those are true. They are lies your weakness tells to keep you safe in a cage. You must see the cage. You must feel the bars. And you must understand that your comfort is the prison guard. It is not protecting you. It is holding you hostage. When you stop negotiating with your weakness, you stop giving it power. You stop allowing it to control your decisions. You stop treating your impulses like they are your destiny. This is the key. Your mind is not your enemy, but your mind is not your friend either. It is a tool, and if you leave it untrained, it will default to the easiest path. It will default to survival. It will default to stagnation. You have to take control of that tool. You have to become the one who decides the rules. And the first rule is this: weakness does not get to negotiate. Your weakness will resist. It will fight. It will try to regain control because it knows you are waking up. It knows you are becoming dangerous to it. It knows you are realizing that comfort is not a reward. This is when most people fail. They hear the truth and they panic. They think, if I stop negotiating, I'll be miserable. But that is not what happens. What happens is you become calm, you become focused, you become precise. You realize that the chaos in your life is not external, it is internal. It is the result of your constant surrender. And when you stop surrendering, the chaos begins to fade. Your body will still want to escape. Your mind will still want to run, but you will not let. You will stand in the discomfort. You will accept the pain, not because you enjoy it, because you understand it is the price of becoming the person who cannot be controlled. Stop negotiating with your own weakness. Stop giving it space in your mind. Stop allowing it to make rules for you. You are not a victim of your habits. You are the creator of them. And if you have been creating weakness, you can create strength instead. It begins with one decision, a decision that is not emotional, a decision that is not inspiring, a decision that is final. You will not negotiate with weakness anymore. You will not debate it. You will not entertain it. You will act. Because action is the only language weakness understands. Make your time unshareable and your attention unbargainable. That is not a suggestion. It is a boundary, and boundaries are not emotional. They are structural. They are the skeleton of your life. You have been living like your time is a public resource, like your attention is something you can afford to waste, like your day belongs to whoever demands it. This is the quiet theft that happens to everyone who never learns to guard their mind. You think you are busy. You think you are overwhelmed, but you are scattered. You are fragmented, and the fragmentation is not accidental. It is engineered by the way you surrender your focus. Time is not the enemy. Time is a measurement. The enemy is the way you allow it to be stolen. You let people interrupt you. You let notifications invade you. You let your attention be rented out to anything that makes a loud noise. You have been trained your mind to respond to external demand. You have made your attention reactive. Your brain is now conditioned to chase the next stimulus. Your nervous system lives in a constant state of what's next. That is not productivity. That is addiction. Attention is not a habit. It is a currency. And you have been spending it without knowing its value. Every moment you allow yourself to be distracted, you are making a deposit into someone else's account, and the balance of your life is shrinking. You think you can multitask. You cannot. Your brain cannot focus on two things at once. It only switches rapidly. Each switch costs you. Each switch erodes your clarity. Each switch weakens your will. Your attention is the only thing you truly own. Your body can be injured. Your finances can be stolen. Your reputation can be attacked, but your attention is yours until you give it away. And you have been giving it you have been giving it away in small increments. A scroll here, a distraction there, a quick check that becomes an hour, a conversation that becomes a trap. The tragedy is that you don't even feel the theft. Your mind is so used to being interrupted that it doesn't recognize. It has violence. It thinks it is normal. Normal is the enemy. Normal is the camouflage of destruction. You need to understand the internal mechanics of this. Your attention is a limited resource. It is not infinite. It is not renewable. Every time you let it be stolen, you are borrowing from your future. Your future self is not an abstract idea. Your future self is your current self, but with less capacity. Every distraction you allow now is a reduction in what you will be able to do later. This is how your life becomes smaller without you noticing. When you make your time unshareable, you are not being rude, you are being accurate, you are acknowledging the truth. You are not obligated to anyone else's agenda. Most people confuse politeness with surrender. They think being available is virtue. It is not. It is weakness disguised as kindness. You are not responsible for everyone's needs. You are responsible for your life. You have to treat your time like a locked room, a room that requires a key, a room that cannot be entered without permission. Because if your time is open to everyone, you will never be alone with your purpose. Your attention is unbargainable. That means it cannot be negotiated. It cannot be traded. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be sold. Every time you allow someone to demand your attention, you are placing a price on your life. You are saying, my mind is available. And you are giving them a power they did not earn. This is the psychological reality. Attention is power. When you control your attention, you control your mind. When you control your mind, you control your behavior. When you control your behavior, you control your destiny. But your attention is not controlled by willpower alone. Willpower is a weak tool. Willpower is like trying to hold a door closed with your hands. It works for a moment, then fatigue sets in. Then the door opens. You need structure, you need rules, you need a system that removes the possibility of distraction before it even arrives. The first rule is your time is not negotiable. You do not explain, you do not justify, you do not make exceptions. Exceptions are the gateway to surrender. The second rule is your attention is not a service you provide. You are not a public utility. You are not here to supply entertainment, validation, or comfort to others. You are here to build a life. The third rule is your mind is not a playground. It is a workshop. It is a place where work is done. And the work requires focus. You have to understand how the mind responds to structure. When you create boundaries, your mind relaxes. It stops searching for permission. It stops asking, is this okay? It stops wondering. And if it should be available, structure is not limiting. It is liberating. It frees your attention from constant negotiation. You also need to understand the psychology of distraction. Distraction is not harmless. It is a symptom of your fear of discomfort, fear of deep work, fear of confronting yourself, fear of realizing you have been wasting your life. When you are distracted, you are not avoiding boredom. You are avoiding clarity. Clarity reveals your weaknesses. Clarity reveals your wasted time. Clarity reveals your truth. That truth is dangerous. And your mind knows it, so it hides behind noise. You cannot let it. You must build a life where your attention is protected, where your time is not accessible, where your mind is not for sale. This means eliminating the small, seemingly insignificant drains. It means cutting the habit of constant checking. It means removing the constant noise. It means creating a space where your mind can focus without interruption. You must make your time unshareable. You must make your attention unbargainable, because once you do, you will realize something terrifying. You have been living in the margins of your own life. You have been letting others decide how you spend your hours. You have been letting your phone decide how you think. You have been letting your distractions decide who you become, and you are done. You are going to take your time back. You are going to take your attention back. You are going to reclaim the only thing that cannot be replaced, because when your attention is yours, you become dangerous, not to others, to your own old self. And that is the point. Remove the emotional comfort from your decisions. This is not a soft concept. This is a surgical requirement. You have been allowing your feelings to decide your life. And that is the quietest form of surrender. You think emotions are guidance. They are not. Emotions are signals. Signals are not instruction. They're simply the body's response to stimuli. You have been treating them like a roadmap. When you let emotion drive your choices, you are handing your life over to the most unpredictable force inside you. Emotions change. They shift with your environment. They fluctuate with your sleep, your hunger, your mood, your social validation. They are unreliable. And yet you have been trusting them. You have been letting them decide what you do, when you do it, and who you become. This is the fundamental reason people never change, because they wait for the feeling of readiness. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be ready. Ready is a state of discipline, not emotion. The emotional mind is a child. It wants immediate pleasure. It wants safety. It wants approval. It wants comfort. It wants to avoid pain. The rational mind is an adult. It understands consequences. It understands trade-offs. It understands that discomfort is part of progress. You have been allowing the child to drive the car, and then you wonder, or why you crash. Emotions are not evil. They are biological. They exist for survival. But you are not surviving. You are trying to build. And survival instincts are not equipped for creation. Survival instincts are built for avoiding danger, not for building a future. This is the internal mechanic you must understand. Emotion is a short-term processor. It evaluates the immediate. It does not care about long-term outcomes. It cares about now. So when you make decisions based on emotion, you are choosing the short-term outcome. You are choosing what feels good now. You are choosing what makes you feel safe now. You are choosing what reduces discomfort now. And that is how you stay trapped. That is how your life becomes a series of immediate satisfactions that lead nowhere. You must separate the emotional from the intentional. You must create a mental firewall between feeling and action, because the moment you do that, you become capable of real change. The first step is to recognize the lie. You think your emotions are the truth. They are not. They are a reaction. A reaction is not a decision. When you feel fear, you think it means you should stop. It does not. Fear is simply the body recognizing potential danger, but danger is not always bad. Danger is often the threshold of growth. When you feel discomfort, you think it means you are doing something wrong. It does not. Discomfort is the price of progress. It is the body's response to being pushed beyond its current limits. When you feel doubt, you think it means you should hesitate. It does not. Doubt is simply your mind questioning what it does not yet understand. It is the mind's way of resisting change. You must understand this. Your emotions are not a guide. They are a resistance system. They exist to keep you where you are. Your emotional mind is loyal to your current identity. It wants you to remain consistent because consistency is safety. And safety is the only thing it knows how to protect. So when you attempt to change, your emotions fight. They fight hard. They create discomfort. They create anxiety. They create excuses. They create stories. They say you're not ready. They say you deserve a break. They say you'll do it later. These are not thoughts. These are defenses. They are the mind's attempt to maintain the status quo. You must become aware of this internal war. You must see the emotional mind as an opponent, not a partner, because if you treat it like a partner, you will lose. You cannot negotiate with emotion. You cannot bargain with it. You cannot ask it politely to cooperate. It will not. It does not respond to logic. Emotion responds to structure. It responds to routine. It responds to discipline. It responds to rules. So you create rules that remove emotion from the decision, rules that make your actions automatic, rules that turn your behavior into a system. When you make a decision based on emotion, you are giving your future self permission to fail, because emotions change, but rules do not. Rules are the only way to make your life immune to the fluctuations of feeling. You need to make your decisions like a machine, not robotic, but consistent, predictable, and influenced by mood. This does not mean you become cold. It means you become controlled. It means you stop being a slave to the weather. Inside your mind, when you remove emotional comfort from your decisions, you stop seeking approval. You stop needing validation. You stop caring about being liked. You stop needing to feel good about your choices. You start doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. And that is the point, because the people who change are not the ones who feel motivated. They are the ones who feel disciplined. They are the ones who have created a mental system that overrides emotion. You must understand that your emotions are not your identity. They are not your personality. They are not your destiny. They are simply your body's response to the moment. You are not your fear. You are not your doubt. You are not your discomfort. You are the decision you make when those things appear. So remove emotional comfort from your decisions. Make your choice based on clarity, not on how you feel. You will feel resistance. You will feel the urge to retreat. You will feel the pull of old habits. You will feel the familiar safety of staying the same. That is when you know you are on the right path, because the moment you begin to remove emotional comfort, you begin to build a life that is not dependent on your mood. You begin to build a life that is dependent on your will and will is not fragile. Will is not emotional. Will is structural. And structure is what creates the person you have been. Pretending to be, build a life so structured that chaos can't find you. That is not a goal. It is a defense strategy. Chaos is not an event. It is a condition. It is the natural state of an untrained mind. You have been living inside chaos because you never built a framework strong enough to hold you. You think chaos is external traffic, people, the economy, circumstances, but chaos is internal first. It is the result of your lack of structure. Structure is not a restriction. Structure is a container, and containers are what keep the pressure from spilling everywhere. When you lack structure, your life becomes a leaking vessel, your days become random, your energy becomes scattered, your decisions become impulsive, and your emotions become the loudest voice. In the room, chaos thrives where there is no boundary. Chaos thrives where there is no plan. Chaos thrives where there is no routine. And you have been feeding it. You think you are flexible, you are not. You are unstable. Flexibility is a tool. Stability is a foundation. Your mind is a machine, and machines need a blueprint. Without a blueprint, they malfunction. Without a blueprint, they break down. The truth is that structure is the only way to ensure your future self is not a weaker version of you. Without structure, your future self becomes whatever your current impulses allow. And your current impulses are not designed for greatness. Your impulses are designed for survival. They are designed to seek comfort. They are designed to avoid pain. They are designed to maintain the status quo. So if you want a different life, you must create a different internal environment. You must build a life that does not rely on willpower alone, because willpower is temporary. Structure is permanent. Structure is a set of rules that remove the need for daily negotiation. It is a system that makes decisions automatic. It is a schedule that removes uncertainty. It is a framework that prevents chaos from entering. You must understand the psychology behind this. When your life lacks structure, your mind seeks it elsewhere. It seeks it in distractions. It seeks it in compulsions. It seeks it in the chaos of constant stimulation. This is why people who lack structure become addicted to noise. They need something to fill the emptiness. They need something to give their brain a hit of certainty, even if that certainty is destructive. Structure gives your mind a predictable environment. It reduces anxiety. It reduces the need for constant stimulation. It reduces the urge to escape. Structure does not remove challenges. It removes randomness. And randomness is what breaks people. When you have structure, you can handle sure. When you have structure, you can face difficulty. When you have structure, you can endure. Because structure is not comfort, structure is discipline, and discipline is what makes you unshakable. You must also understand that structure is not the same as busyness. You can be busy and chaotic. Busy is a state of movement. Structure is a state of control. You can fill your day with tasks and still feel lost. That is because you are busy with things that do not matter. Structure forces you to focus on what matters. Structure is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things consistently. It is about eliminating the unnecessary. It is about protecting your time and attention. Chaos enters through the gaps. It enters through unplanned minutes. It enters through idle moments. It enters through the "I'll just check this quickly" mentality. Structure closes those gaps. It fills your time with intention. It gives your day a shape. It gives your life a spine. When you build a structured life, you build a mind that does not need constant external validation. You build a mind that is not easily distracted. You build a mind that does not panic when things go wrong. Because structure creates predictability, and predictability creates calm, and calm creates clarity. The internal mechanics of structure are simple. You create rules, you enforce rules, you repeat rules, you become the rule. That is the psychological shift. You stop being a person who tries. You become a person who simply is. You do not ask, "What should I do?" You know what you do. Structure also forces you to confront your weaknesses. When your life is unstructured, you can hide, you can avoid, you can drift, you can numb. Structure removes the hiding places. It forces you to face the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. It forces you to confront your procrastination, your avoidance, your excuses. And that is why people resist structure, because structure reveals the truth. Structure shows you who you are when no one is watching. It shows you what you do when you are not being entertained. It shows you what you are capable of. When you stop escaping, you must build a life so structured that chaos cannot find you. That means your day is not random. Your habits are not optional. Your priorities are not negotiable. It means you have a routine that is not based on how you feel. It means you have a system that is not dependent on motivation. It means you have a schedule that is not subject to your mood. It means you design your environment so that your choices are obvious. It means you remove temptation. It means you reduce decision fatigue. It means you make the correct action, the easiest action. Structure is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is about making the same choices repeatedly until they become automatic. It is about turning discipline into habit. And once your discipline becomes habit, chaos loses its power, because chaos thrives on unpredictability. It thrives on your inability to control your environment. It thrives on your lack of routine. When you build structure, you take away chaos. Entry points. You close the doors, you lock the windows, you create a fortress. This is how you become unbreakable. Not through motivation, not through emotion, but through architecture. A life built with structure cannot be shaken by noise. A mind built with structure cannot be seduced by distraction. A body built with structure cannot be weakened by inconsistency. So build the structure, build it now, build it ruthlessly, build it without asking permission. Because chaos will keep coming. It always does, but it cannot enter where there is no room for it. And that is the point. This is not a speech. This is an order you will either obey or continue to suffer beneath. Your future is not waiting for you to feel ready. It is waiting for you to stop being the same person who keeps promising change. You will either become the architect of your life or you will remain its victim. And if you want 2026 to be different, you will do what you have never done before. You will become unbreakable in your own mind.